This podcast is brought to you by Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms. With over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands, Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service, backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Primary Arms, serving freedom since 2008. Find out more at frn.deals/PA. Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Garth Hofer.
Hi!
Hi! So, somebody out there is watching right now going, what the devil? It's not Monday.
It is not Monday. That's my bad. I was about to jump on. Well, I wasn't going to jump. I was getting ready to jump on, and then all of a sudden, noises started happening, and then I had to go do firefighter things.
So, I think that's an acceptable, we can give you a buy on that one.
Well, the thing that pisses me off the most is I missed, the last truck by a minute, and I just went and played Wonderboy and got to do a few things, but then I was like, well, I didn't ride here in a truck, so I'm leaving. So I wasn't there for the whole thing. They got back to town like a half hour after I did, so it was okay.
No, it was not because of the federal holiday.
You mean National Independence Day?
No, that wasn't. That the Independence Day is the 4th of July.
I know. I had a buddy send me a picture of a calendar that said National Independence Day, June 19th. And then him and I had a discussion of why that's not true.
Well, we're not going to get into some of those reasons.
Yeah.
But we were planning on having a show last night, but we didn't. And instead, we bumped it to tonight, which is good because, we're running out of nights will be available this week.
Dude, we are 38 hours away from road tripping, man.
Yeah. No, so we're going to be heading to GunCon here this weekend. And now this episode will come out in podcast form after we've already, been there.
Been there and back, so next Monday.
Yeah. But if anybody listens to this between then and now, or maybe we'll just put it out early. You never know.
Yeah.
And if you're in the greater Grinnell, Iowa area, shoot us an email. I know that we would probably sit down and have a beer.
Talk all things guns.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Nick will talk all things guns. I'll sit there and listen.
Oh, you'll talk things guns as well.
Oh,
it's you say that like I talk all things guns all the time.
You do.
Fair. I may have several conversations a day about firearms.
It happens. This is my first of the day, so. Sorry.
Oh, yes, that sounds very nice, Thomas. He was going to drink another bottle of bourbon for not being there.
Sorry, bud.
Yep, that's good penance. But no, this might be my first true firearms conversation of the day. I did some firearms adjacent topics earlier. Have some interesting stuff coming down the pike business wise, but other than that, not really truly firearms related, but in my space and training area. But other than that, no, just kind of going through. Did you do anything fun this week, Garth?
Gun related? No, not really. Actually, dude. I've been saving all the gun fun for this coming weekend. Uh, Still looking for a gun of the month for June. Haven't quite figured out what I want to land on yet. So, no. And as far as training and stuff goes like that, I've been too busy with getting corn into the ground. We've finished that up, and now we've got this thunderstorm rolling in. Hopefully, it hits us. I don't know if it will. So, yeah, there's no gun fun things that have been
The
happening in the last.
alleged storm.
Yeah, well, it's adjacent west. It's not going to hit us at all. I don't think. It looks pretty nasty, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit us. So that's sad. So we'll just keep living in this drought we're living in. So, what about you?
You know, that is. Hello, you broke up there. A 10 millimeter high point. No, let's see. Thomas has one picked out for you.
You know, I held one at SHOT Show, and while it was a high point, and it was a heavy high point at that, I don't think 10 mil is for me.
Well, that's because you get it confused with 45.
That too, it happened once. I blame Glock for that. I mean, who doesn't label their table a little better?
That is a fair point.
It's not technically all on me. I mean, yeah, it was sleeting and raining, and at first glance, maybe I should have seen it, but it fired twice.
It did go bang.
So, oh well.
And there's also one other thing that, I mean, I got to do this, but it really is not. It's not mine to talk about.
Okay.
But it is that beauty right there.
Oh, I mean,
anybody looking on screen.
Yeah, if you're looking on screen. And the reason I didn't really bring it up is
Garth got his platypus in yet.
Yeah. It took 10 weeks to get here. And I guess I am excited about it. I just kind of put it in the safe and forgot about it because I haven't had time to go shoot it yet. So I was going to, savor it. But no, we can talk about it for sure. I blame the We Like Shooting guys. I blame their Nick because he's the one that brought it up months ago. And I went, dude, that sounds so stupid. I have to purchase it. And then I went, what are the most ridiculous colors I could put on it? And we have a buddy who does engraving, and I want to put Ray Finkel's name on it, I think.
That is going to be extra special.
Oh, yeah.
Especially to anyone who knows who Ray Finkel is.
Oh, Ray Finkel or Laces Out or something along those lines. Maybe
I think
on it. I don't know.
I think Laces Out might be the real.
There's so many options I could name that gun. So yeah, no, it's a solid piece. I'm just ecstatic that a 1911 takes Glock 17 magazines. So that's cool. And I guess I should say that's not my June of the month gun either. I ordered this thing back in April. So yeah, that was my April gun. So that's why I didn't count towards the June.
Yeah, I guess that is fair enough.
But yeah, I will have a full report on that here.
I mean, I think it'd be better if you put Finkel on one side and Einhorn on the other.
Ooh. Maybe I should just get another one and do reverse colors.
But that one would have to have a bobbed hammer.
Well.
Oh, too soon. Okay, maybe somebody will get that joke. Maybe somebody won't.
Maybe not.
But, no. So that was cool to see that and have it come through. The only thing I've really done is I went out and played with that dot and magnifier combo from Primary Arms, and I really dig that right now.
How's it? I mean, the recoil's good on it and stuff like that. It doesn't move your dot around in the magnification and anything like that.
No more than you would on like a 6 power LPVO.
Okay.
And so the big change up with that is it's their red dot with the ACSS or reticle in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they included a 6 power magnifier, and I really like the magnifiers flip out, like how it flips out,
Yeah.
and or the mechanism. That's the word I was looking for that I couldn't say. I really like the mechanism, and like the reticle in and of itself, I really dig because it's if you look at how the ACSS works and like how it's supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
it it's built-in rangefinder. It has, it comes with a book that's like, hey, if you're shooting this for standard velocities, here's where you're at. So, and it stays true to that when you flip it over with the magnifier. It's just way bigger.
Yeah.
Or at least I shouldn't say that. I haven't tested that theory out enough to be like confident on it. But theoretically, it would be the same
What
because
setup do you have that on right now?
right now I have it on a 16-inch gun, just a 16-inch 223.
Okay.
But I have a very strong feeling that by fall it's going to move on to a caliber and a rifle that I rarely use.
What are you gonna put on? Oh, I have an idea.
I'm going to put on my 300 Blackout.
Okay. I was wrong.
No, I'm going to put that setup on my 300 Blackout because specifically if my loving wife gets deer tags this year,
Ah.
because you know she is more familiar with the AR than a bolt gun platform
Yeah.
and is familiar with red dots. So if we can get her used to the flip over magnifier,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll have something there. And with 300 Blackout, I mean, we're looking at really for a dot and a magnifier, or even just a dot, at 300 yards, you're at a 13-inch or 13 to 14-inch drop with a 110 grain bullet.
Yep.
And you're putting out, it's 30 caliber rifle round. So you're still able to, you know, have good lethality at that range. And most of the shots that she'll be in will be 200 meters and in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more or less going to be like aim at the top half of the shoulder and pull the trigger.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep. But, it can add that magnifier if we need to. And, she'll join the quad rail gang.
I mean, to be a different aspect of shooting a deer. A lot of guys go out and use their Christmas tree reticles on their 6.5s and 308s and stuff, and no one really thinks about going and hunting a deer with a red dot.
So in our area, that's for sure.
Well, no, again, yeah, in our area, that doesn't happen a lot.
Because I have shot, I've shot hogs with a dot. I've also shot hogs with an LPVO. Same trip.
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, then you get into coyote hunting and stuff like that, then yes, they become very frequent. But just as far as deer hunting goes, a lot of people don't necessarily associate red dots and deer hunting together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, and it is kind of I think it'll be kind of a fun experiment.
Oh yeah.
To go through, like we'll get it dialed in and be running that supersonic, 300 Blackout, of course with the can, and do that. And I'm going to again use my 308 AR or one of them.
One of them.
Go that route because, well, I like carrying around way more weight than I need to, as is evidenced by my body type. So, then just been doing some handgun drills, the basic dry fire stuff, and then I know that we said earlier we're talking about going on our little trip here to GunCon,
Yep.
and this is one of those times where when we're driving down there, where it's a kind of a change up for us. We're not taking either one of our pickups.
Yeah, that would be a change for a first time. So we've got to decide what we're going to pack, what we're not going to pack. There's three of us going, so is a Forerunner enough for three people?
Well, I know the answer to that is yes. Like I am fairly like I might be a large human, but I do not require a lot.
Let me rephrase this. Will we be able to see out the back window?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I know that the first trip that we took in that, I have a couple like waterproof rolling bags,
Yeah.
and I made use of my Pioneer rack on top, and just threw things up there. But when we get into talking about travel and things of that nature, you know, traveling with a handgun really easy. Um, as long as you have reciprocity, if you have a concealed carry permit and have reciprocity in the state you're headed to,
Yeah.
you pretty much just rock and roll. I know that there is some stuff with states that don't like freedom and have like mag capacity limits and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I've been kind of dreading a little bit. Not dreading. I don't know the correct word I'm looking for. I finally went and applied for my enhanced concealed carry permit about a month and a half ago, and I have not received it in the mail yet. And we are going on a trip in a day and a half that we are going to be traveling through a state, well, possibly depending on what route we take, that does not honor South Dakota's regular permit. And so I might need to go talk to my local sheriff's office and be like, hey, you need to issue me one of those little paper receipts because I have it. It's on the state right now that they don't have it sent to me. So,
Yep. And when running through like that stuff, it's so carrying a handgun, stuff like that. But of course, we are the AR-15 podcast,
correct.
and I know for a long time I traveled. Like I've driven all over the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and like one of our neighboring states has some not so good firearms laws,
Yeah.
and one of them is about like actually a lot of states have these rules, which is if you're going to be traveling somewhere with a firearm, make sure you look up what the rules are in that state. Because there's people who live in like our own great state of South Dakota who are not aware of what the laws are.
Yes.
And you know, and we don't have a lot of them, but it's like here it is 100% legal to drive around with a loaded rifle. Like you can have an AR with a mag in and a round chambered and just the safety on and roll around with that in your vehicle and you're 100% legal. You're not breaking any law.
yeah.
Now, especially certain times of the year, there are states that have rules against that in a very big way. There's states where it's like you cannot have a loaded rifle at all in your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're worried about protection and some of those things, one of the ways that oh, this is the time where I have to use that little like hashtag I am not an attorney and nothing I say should be construed as legal advice. And in saying that, I would people would ask me a question about like what to carry or what not to and things of that nature, and I would say Well, I can tell you that legally, in the eyes of the government, this 11.5-inch barreled AR is a pistol.
Yes.
And, if you have a permit to carry a loaded pistol, wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
Hmm.
I'm just going to leave that one out there and then I'll walk away.
Yeah.
And I for a lot of years have carried a pistol AR, especially if I'm traveling or something like that. Not just because it packs easier,
Yeah.
because let's be honest, they do pack down nicer and they're a little smaller
Yeah.
and things of that nature. If I know I'm going to be going somewhere to get in a gunfight, I am not going to bring a pistol AR. I'm going to bring a belt-fed weapon and those types of things. But I know that you're kind of like me. I do like I carry body armor with me a lot,
Hmm.
especially if I'm traveling and things of that nature. Not because I am overly worried about something happening to me, but it's kind of like the reason I carry a fully stocked CLS bag.
Exactly. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah. So when you look at something like this, along with what's happening now with all of the pistol brace stuff, and we'll get into some of that legal discussion shortly. And so, actually, we'll just jump into it now. If you're living under a rock and have not realized what I'm talking about, is in January of this year, the ATF issued a very ominous sounding final rule about pistol arm braces. And Garth's beloved commander in chief was on TV this weekend
Oh, do you want to hear it? I have it. I have it.
making statements that a pistol brace makes a gun a higher caliber.
Oh, right here, right here. Just listen in.
Made it harder for people to buy stabilized braces. Put a pistol on a brace, it turns into a gun. Makes it more. You can have a higher caliber weapon, a higher caliber bullet coming out of that gun.
What a genius.
Yep, there's so much going on by people who don't know what they're talking about, and that's just a day in the life. But there hasn't been an injunction filed, and it is with the FPC and GOA cases. And this is one where it depends on how you read the ruling. Either people who are, past members of the FPC or Gun Owners of America are covered on this as the plaintiff. There's also people who are like, oh, if you just go out and sign up right now, you'll be good to go. Anybody. And, if that was the case, then it's, hey guys, you want to not worry about this? Just go sign up for the FPC. One good thing is, like, I don't know how their records go for keeping it and stuff like that, but I have donated to FPC a lot over the years. Just because they are one of the organizations that has been fighting the fight on gun rights. And once you give them a little money, you're kind of a member forever. And at least from what I can see, because there's no sign up for an annual membership. It's, are you a member or not? And I've been getting emails from them for a lot of years, and I've sent them money over the years. So I am ready. And it would also take a rather ballsy federal court to subpoena them for a list of their members so that we know who is safe on the pistol brace list and who is not. But I'm not going to tell you what to do, although I am going to do a giant round of applause and thank you to every freedom-loving American who participated in like the biggest act of non-compliance I have ever seen. This is amazing, like absolutely astonishing. Garth, have you seen the numbers on the pistol brace?
I have not. No.
So I've been following this and looking at it obviously because and we should have talked about it sooner. We should have just dedicated a whole show to this as this goes on. But as you go through the numbers on it are like 255,000 people applied for the free amnesty brace.
Mm-hmm.
So 255,000, like that's a lot. That's a fair amount.
Yeah.
According to the ATF numbers, there's 7 to 9 million braces. According to industry numbers, it's 40 million braces. So you're looking at less than 1% of people applied for the amnesty.
Yeah.
And just went, nah, I'm good.
That's a big middle finger.
Like, so that is a huge act of non-compliance.
Yep.
And like there are a lot of people who are, I was going to SBR this anyway, so they got it for free, which I get.
Yep.
I'm not gonna talk a lot of smack to people who like, oh, I did this, and I got it done for free. It's if you went, well, I need to because the government said, like, then I might like easy red coat. The last time somebody told us to turn in their guns, we shot them. Yeah, that's what happened to the British. Hey, turn in your guns. No.
Yeah. I think for now I'll just probably stick with the tennis ball. Or actually I have an upper on the way right now, a 16-inch upper that might just get placed on there for the current time being.
Yep, and I understand that. But and traveling with that there is some nuances into taking stuff off and like destroying it and what the ATF director said versus what the rule says. There's a bunch of stuff up in the air on it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say what anyone should do or what they shouldn't do. I'm going to say you should do what your checkbook can afford.
That's fair.
And do what you believe in your heart is correct and do what your checkbook can afford. And with that said, the reason why it's still more viable to have a pistol, even if you just have to have a tennis ball on the end of that buffer tube, is so we'll be traveling through at least 3 well, I guess technically we could do it in just one other state.
Yeah.
But we'll probably be in at least 2 other states, very shortly.
Yeah.
And if you travel with a SBR, you have to file a form whenever you're taking that across state lines.
Correct. Just an SBR, not a pistol.
Yes. So that is with anytime that you are taking an out-of-state trip, meaning out of your residence. So you don't need it to go to the range or to go like across the state. But if you are going to drive across state lines, you have to fill out an ATF form 5320.20. And that is to take a short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, and or fully automatic weapon out of the state. And you have to get approval from the ATF in order to do that.
The guys I feel the worst for are fellas that live out in like the Black Hills that want to go to Wyoming and vice versa. That I think is got to be the roughest, just for all the hunting purposes and traveling from range to range out there. That would be rough.
So, like, we have some friends of the show. Like, I've been a guest on their podcast before, the Geeks, Gadgets, and Guns guys. They live 5 miles apart, like as a crow flies.
Yep.
And you have to leave one state, drive through another, and end up in a third. And it's because they live in the extreme northeastern Nebraska and Iowa area, so they drive through South Dakota, and it's one of those like, hey, I want to go to my buddy's house, for the range, and where they have a private range set up. Legally, you're supposed to fill one of those out.
Yep.
Now, are there people whom I know that have like moved out of a state and not realized that they had to fill out one of those forms
Mm.
and have lived there for several years? The answer to that is yes. There are. There's I know people who like, oh man, I did this SBR like 4 or 5 years ago, and they did it because it was cool and they wanted their, like one guy legit wanted a 300 blackout for hunting in southern Minnesota.
Yep.
And he now lives in the hills, and I was talking to him, and I was like, hey man, did you do this? And he went, oh, what's that? And I went, yeah, man, this is the thing. But like SBR rules are stupid in general. And they were brought up because originally the NFA was going to ban all handguns.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, oh, well, we have to do this. And they go, well, we're not. And then it was, well, what if someone just cuts down a rifle to make it like a pistol? And then they got the handguns allowed through the NFA, and they just never removed the other verbiage.
Seems likely.
Yep. Oh, and Stephen here asked a very important question that I know our friend Paul has also talked about. Thoughts on the 8.6?
I haven't heard a lot of anything about the 8.6, really. I mean, it's so hard to come by, right?
Well, right now it's just straight vaporware.
Okay.
Like the people who said they were going to be making ammo for it, the only people I'm aware of that are making ammo is Gorilla. And they are behind, or like, the demand was, because I know Faxon was making barrels for it.
Yeah.
Q was going to have it, and Hornady was going to be involved, and then Gorilla was. And then a bunch of things like happened, and then none of that happened.
So
and
just everyone talks about it, but it's not real.
Well, it is, and it's it'll be interesting to see if it pans out. And like Thomas said, I want one in 5 years if it's not a 224 Valkyrie. So like the cartridge wars and like the next hot thing, I do own a 300 Blackout. As we said before, as Thomas is here, like, I'm so glad I don't have a 300 Blackout. But I did a 300 Blackout, and 300 Blackout was the first, like, I shouldn't say first. It was like a wonder round when it came out.
Yeah.
Yep. And I agree that a Sapphire, or however you want to pronounce the Ruger AR, or the Divorce 7 and 8.6 would be awesome. I want to see the round get viable. And
you want some data behind it before you just commit.
Yeah, I would like it. Like when I finally committed to buying my 300 Blackout, it had been around for a little while, and they had figured some stuff out. And I have never shot supersonic ammo through mine.
Yeah.
I bought it to run as a suppressed gun, and it's awesome. Like, it's stupid quiet and does everything I would want it to. So running it with, supersonic ammo now will be kind of neat.
Yeah.
But this has been ammo talk, and we kind of got away from when we were talking about short barrels. We got into subsonic rounds and calibers, but so to get back onto topic where we were talking about traveling with an AR. There are a couple things else that you can do if you don't want to have a pistol brace. But if you can't have the pistol brace, but don't want to have the SBR, one of them is what I would call an Israeli sling. Sling weld would be the way to look at it for a cheek weld.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm trying to think of the best way to verbalize this. If you take a rifle sling, hey, look, I have one right in front of me.
Look at that.
And wear it like around your body where your strong arm is fed through it. And the sling would go around. Like, this is the time a single point sling works amazing.
Uh-huh.
You put that, the loop would go through, like you would reach your weak hand or arm or support arm through, and you have it hanging around you. Then, because this is a technique that was originally developed for running Uzis.
Yeah.
And
like all the movies, man.
Yep, like all the 80s, as I am fond of saying when I teach classes, I am a fan of shitty 80s action movies. And, you see Chuck Norris with his, dual slung micro Uzis. But one thing that they actually would do is when they would carry an Uzi under their trench coat, and then when they would bring it up, they would not have a stock on it, but they would push out, and then when they would push straight out, that sling would give tension, and they could get a cheek weld on the sling for a sight picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would just use that leverage pushing against that sling pulling around their body to make that work. So for something like the Montgo 9 or something like that,
yeah,
it works awesome because there are no buffers. Or like a PSA Jackal, you could also do that with.
Or a Ruger Charger.
Yep. Well, you could do it with a standard AR as well. You just have to put the little QD at the bottom.
Yep.
And then you can reach up from that and have your QD point right above the web of your thumb, right over the top of your VZ grip. And VZ grips are awesome because they're made from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered in mud, blood, or sweat. The 17-degree grip angle and a wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, along with color options, are available. 1911 grips, Beretta grips. All of these feature extreme customizability, standard and slim palm swells, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. This coupon code is good for 15% off of all handgun and rifle grips. And that code is AR-15 podcast.
Now, to question what you might be bringing this weekend, just to give the fine folks at home an idea. I mean, are you gonna run a pistol? Are you gonna run a rifle? What do you tend to bring? I know what you brought in the past, but every time I've traveled with you, it's because we've been going to a class, and so we just kind of brought our guns along for class. Now, this is the first time we've been traveling to a gun thing without going to a class.
Yep. I will be running. I have a couple different options to run,
Mm-hmm.
and I will have a a small rifle with, or rather a large pistol.
Sure.
And I always carry something along those lines, and let's also be down to brass tacks. This is also one of my vehicles, so there's
Fair.
there's probably a rifle in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if we were taking mine, I wouldn't really have to worry about a setup because I'd have 3 different guns hidden around compartments in there anyway. But since I am traveling with you, I figure I'll probably be grabbing my first aid med backpack that I have set up, and with a whole bunch of trauma and stop bleeds and stuff like that. And since it's a nicer, smaller backpack, I'll probably just go with the gun that's in it, and that'll be a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, just because it breaks down easy enough and compartmentalizes into one of the larger compartments, and I can feel secure with that gun between 25 yards to 100. So,
Yep, and that's one where no one really goes in this thinking they're going to get into a firefight somewhere, but
yeah,
a lot of people travel with a gun or something like that. And like Steven was talking about those micro Roni frames, or at one time the Flux Defender frames
yeah,
or Flux Defense frames. I had At one time I had a Recover Tactical Glock frame that folded out, and with a Glock 19 with a red dot on it, I could run a plate rack at 50 yards, no problem.
yep. I also had one of those exact frame models, and while I enjoyed it for how sleek and compact it was, I almost gave myself a black eye one day because you are there.
Oh yeah.
Shooting. The sight picture is right there, and so it's pretty easy to.
Well, and I
Yeah.
believe that was before you'd started to really do the red dot thing.
And it 100% was. So red dots and I were still a foreign concept, and so it wasn't really something that I was looking forward to shooting. Yeah.
Yep. So, I always have a pistol on my hip. Now we have a rule at my house, and it's, if you're going to leave the house, you have to leave it in something that will support a firearm.
Yeah.
That could be because of individuals that I live with. Like, yeah, you can. I'm gonna leave in this. What do you think? Will it support a gun? If not, your yoga pants are too thin.
Correct.
But no. So going through that, and it's, again, not trying to sound like crazy people or anything like that. But I
There's a
have.
difference between being crazy and being prepared, and I like to think that we're just on the edge of over prepared, but maybe to some others, maybe we're not.
Hey, I've carried my personal body armor with me for a lot of years. Like, way before I had for a long time before you guys ever thought about it. And
Yeah, 100%. You have got several of us into body armor, and now I couldn't imagine having a kit in my pickup. Not having a kit in my pickup, I should say. So there are certain things I don't travel without, and a set of plates is one of them.
but that's just I've been adjacent to places too many times in my life where I'm like, I would feel a lot more comfortable if I had just a little bit of something.
Well, the world is dangerous. Don't leave home without certain things.
Yep. And medical gear is definitely one of the big things on that list for me.
Yeah.
So I carry that all over. But when you talk about the world being a dangerous place, this is a good time for us to talk about our latest sponsor, 4 Patriots. Now, 4 Patriots doesn't just do the freeze-dried food. They do that as well, and you can get your survival food. But I really, really am, like, digging this, their solar power and their
Mm.
off-grid power variety stuff. because national security experts are warning that our aging power grid is more vulnerable than ever. January marked the third time a power station was attacked in North Carolina and was damaged by gunfire. Authorities are releasing this attack as a rise in a new level of threat. Authorities are now checking our grid for vulnerabilities, and they've identified 9 key substations. If these substations are attacked, the power could be knocked out from coast to coast for up to 18 months. Imagine a blackout lasting not hours or days, but weeks and months. Your life would be frozen in time right at the moment the power fails. Lights go out all over the country, throwing people into total darkness. That's why having your own solar power is more important than ever. With the new Patriot Power Generator 2000X, you get a solar generator that doesn't install into your house because it's portable and you can take it with you. Even use it inside, but it's powerful enough for your phones, medical devices, or even your fridge. So you can run your fridge off of this solar generator pack. And right now you can go to 4patriots.com and use code FRN to get 10% off your first purchase. You'll also get their famous guarantee for an entire year on your order, plus free shipping on anything over $97, and a portion of all sales go to donate charities that support our veterans and their families. Just go to 4patriots.com. That's the number 4patriots.com. And use the code FRN to get 10% off.
Perfect.
And that is one of the things that I do carry. That's like a small thing. Is I have a solar like battery pack to charge phones.
Super handy.
I know that we had, or I think when we went to Colorado was the first time you saw mine.
Yep.
Like I just threw it on the dash, and you're like, "What's?" I'm like, "It's my battery pack. It'll just keep charging." And it's one of those where you just have it out or hanging on a backpack or something when you're walking around on the range, and it just always is kind of trickle charging the solar or the cell.
Yep.
And you can plug your cell phone in it and charge it, or if you're like me, you have to charge your hearing aids or something. But yeah, so that has been travel with an AR. Again, the biggest thing you have to do if you're going to travel with one is know where you're headed. So look at the laws of like where you're going and see what they allow or what they don't. Because like if I was driving to California for a class, it would greatly limit what I could have. Like I'm not sure if I am legal in California.
California compliant, you are not.
So Jim asked this question, Keltec Sub 2000, is this a viable substitute for a short 300 blackout, especially with the current situation? The answer to that is ish. Like I hate to say it like that, where you go through. I have a 300 blackout, but also I'm oddly enough, my 300 blackout is a rifle. It is a 16-inch gun.
Yep.
All of my short guns, except one, are 223, and the other one that's short is a 9.
And I think that's why I enjoyed the Sub 2000 so much. I mean, does it throw powder like an SOB? Absolutely, 100% it does. But just the idea that you can break that down into a small backpack and then even fully extended, it's still shorter than most SBRs and pistols out there. Or sorry, pistol ARs out there. I mean, it's a beautiful compact gun that I really didn't think I had a need for until I got an itch earlier this spring and said, you know what, why not? Let's go out and just see what this thing can do. And I mean, as far as distance, it's still a 9mm. You're not going to win any long range competitions with it, but you're going to be more accurate than any pistol out there, I feel. So,
yep, I know that it does have more snort and more juice than like out of my 365 XL or something like that.
Yep.
So it's the same but different, if that makes sense.
It's a fair statement.
You know, honestly, another Keltec that I think would be great for something like this is the Keltec KS7 because 26 inches, it's short, and 7 rounds of 12 gauge. It says F off in a very delicate way.
I mean, realistically, I'm a big fan of Keltec weapons in general, minus their PMR. And I've owned a PMR, and I know the AR-15 podcast we are, and PMR is not it. But man, how cool is 30 rounds of 22 mag? It's awesome. It just I had too much. I had too many jam problems with it. I don't know, just too much dust collected. I tried to use it with this farm truck. It didn't handle that well. Maybe it was just the crap ammo I was using through it. I don't know. Didn't have good luck with it.
Yep, I know several people who've had issues with that. It's they do amazing engineering work and really push the envelope, but
Yeah, but there's a but, and if there's a but, oh.
yes, it's maybe in a couple years Smith and Wesson will pick up their design and make it better, but I mean, I'm looking at you, a folding pistol carbine, and what do they call their bullpup 12 gauge?
Oh gosh, what is it?
But
I don't call offhand.
yeah, no, it's just hey, Big Blue, looking at you, and I'm not talking about my Dylan, but no, I am excited. Next week, I'm sure we will have all sorts of content and things to talk about with the things we see at GunCon.
Now going in to GunCon, not really knowing what to expect because we've never been. What's your biggest look forward to?
Well, I know I've talked to a handful of other people, and that's going to be one, interacting with, or getting to see some of our industry friends, like the guys
Yep.
from the We Like Shooting show will be there. I'm
Yep.
excited for that. The other thing is, since this is an open show, getting to interact with people who want to be there, like the public who gets to come and hang out and be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, that will be neat. I'm actually looking forward to that. Like you said, I'm looking forward to just getting to socialize with all the other gun network guys out there. We like shooting. The gun collective will be there. I mean, Brownells. We're going to Brownells headquarters. How cool is that?
Yeah. How dangerous is that to my checkbook?
Oh, well, yeah, because you can actually buy stuff at this one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be scary. I mean, I should leave mine at home. I don't know.
Yeah, this is one of those like, oh, open box sales? What?
Just get a shot of car. Oh, I just need a little thing off the shelf there, a little thing off the shelf there. No.
So no, like I'm genuinely excited. We may have to have our third partner in crime down when we talk about that, just to get a different set of views and experience that is going into this. So Jim says he loves the Keltec. I even like it better than the new S&W 2000. Yes. And I a couple of years ago, well, several now, I looked really hard at getting one of those Keltec sub 2000s, but did not.
I first looked at them, and then I went out and bought the. I think it was right when the Ruger Charger came out, and I bought that instead, just because I didn't care for the powder blowback on the Keltec, and then
I wanted one purely because it took Beretta mags. You could get them that took Beretta mags.
Yep.
And someone has a lot of them laying around.
For the 2 Berettas you have?
2. 2. That's funny. But I wish it was 2 some days. No, but I ended up going with the Beretta CX4 Storm instead.
Yeah. Great gun.
It is. I love that rifle. It's fun.
It's ugly as sin, but it functions.
Oh yeah. It is definitely ugly. It is slow. But it goes bang every time. My what's that?
Just like you.
Yep, that's right. I can definitely tell you that I could run the same course of fire with my Beretta Storm or with my AR-9.
Yeah, I've seen you do it.
And
I've
my
seen you run that 9, you had to use your front sight too.
Yep, my AR-9 is a world apart in speed from the Beretta.
It's a sweet AR. It's a good build.
And it is way faster than that Storm. But that Storm just has some stupid reliability that I absolutely
don't fix what's not broke, right?
Yep. But well, Garth, I know that we talked about that. What is it you're excited the most for?
Like I said, just the networking, man. We're going here strictly, I think, just to make connections in the gun world and just to, I guess, rejuvenate everyone, because times are tough right now in the gun world. People are coming after us, and now is more important than ever to stick together and have a voice. And I think with conferences like this, that's exactly what you get to do.
Correct. I would 100% agree with that. This is going to be a good time. I'm super excited for it, and we will be back to tell you guys all about it next week.
No, we're going to be excited.
So, Garth, where can they find us? Do you have any final?
Yeah, they can find us at AR-15 podcast 2.0 at gmail.com. You can also find us on the firearmradio.net. That's where we have all our content, as well as all the other great shows that are on the Firearm Radio Network. You can shoot us an email. You can find us on Facebook, AR-15 Podcast. We're on Instagram, AR-15 Podcast 2.0. Check us out on YouTube. We're on Spotify, iTunes. We're on all your major platforms for listening. And go ahead and drop us an email. I mean, it's been a minute since we've got an email. So maybe people will stop listening to us. Maybe it's just you and I talking to the Ethernet out there. I don't know.
It could be. It's hard to say.
I know we got our tens of followers on the YouTube and on Facebook, which we really appreciate you guys tuning into.
Yes, we do love it when we love when you guys ask us questions. So make sure to send some stuff in. And well, Garth, I don't have anything else to add tonight. But you folks out there, you stay safe and stay armed. Do you want to support the show? Subscribe and interact on social media. AR-15 Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 at gmail.com if you just want to drop us a line. Find us online at firearmsradio.net. Click through our sponsors and support the people who support our show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, Predator Armor, TacPack, and Patriot Patch Company.